had to move at least 4 times already. Every 2 weeks they're moving. Majority of people that I speak to, myself included, still cannot sleep through the night, you know? Majority of people in West Maui, our kids are not in school still yet. And so with this announcement, I found out about it on September 7th. I texted the governor asking him to please move it back. He said, you know, I was pushing for, instead of just picking a date out of thin air, benchmarks of having our children back in school, having childcare for the preschoolers and the toddlers, having long-term contracts for the majority of people. And he said that I don't get to talk to him like that and to communicate with his staff moving forward. So, you know, that's kind of what we're up against. So many people don't know where they will live in 6 months from now. Some people don't know where they will live past October 31st. And so many people I've spoken to have had tourists stick cameras in their faces, demanding to be told what the experience is like if they've lost their house and things like that. Nobody's in the headspace to deal with that politely. And so, you know, earlier today I visited the Hawaii Convention Center, and Mr. Tokioka asked when would be an appropriate time to open. And I don't feel capable of making that decision. That's a decision that we need to have an open dialogue about, talk about what the benchmarks should be, and not just a date that you pick out of the calendar, because there's very real consequences, you know, to every action that elected and appointed decision makers make. And so it shouldn't be made in a vacuum. It shouldn't be made behind closed doors. It shouldn't be made in consultation with community members that you don't listen to. It should be made in an open and transparent way with back and forth discussion. And I'm just sorry to the people of West Maui that didn't happen. That being said, I'm kind of taken aback because I've heard that even South Maui doesn't have tourists. And so I'm blown away that there's all this effort and focus about tourism in West Maui. And I have hardly heard anybody saying, Wailea welcomes you, Makena misses you, the beaches are empty over there, go there, stay there. All the focus that I've heard, and I try to look at the news, is been on West Maui. And so where do they think that all the people want to go is West Maui? So, you know, Maui isn't closed, West Maui is closed. And feel free to visit Wailea, Makena, stay there and enjoy your vacation and support our economy from South Maui, from Makawao, from Paia, Hana, these other areas that are open for business. Thank you.
Mahalo County Council Member Tamara Paulton. Now I'd like to welcome Senator Angus McKelvey, who has been equally affected by the West Maui fires. He's here to share and echo some of the concerns of our community and solutions to ease our transitions moving forward.
Oh boy, didn't expect this. Aloha, everybody. It's on this sad day that I welcome you to your Hawaii State Capitol. Emphasis on the word yours. I come here along with our Councilwoman Paulton as one who's been affected, but not to the degree to which the families behind me have been affected who came here from West Maui, who've lost everything. It's because of lack of liquidity and agency. It's because of hard deadlines and messaging that the community is being forced into this position. It's because of this, no mortgage relief, no closing of the loopholes for rental evictions, no relief for businesses, no commercial relief. You can't have an economy unless these are the things our economy needs to stabilize. There's action that can be taken to stabilize our economy now that is not being taken. And now what you have as a result of hard deadlines and worldwide announcements is a community pitted against each other, an island pitted against each other. People who are like, I'm going to lose my home because I can't afford my mortgage, putting pressure on them to go back to work. Meanwhile, they feel sick to their stomach because their community, the people they know, are suffering. This is a trauma that is unseen. I talked to a health professional last night who came from Honolulu to be there to provide immediate emergency services, now traumatized themselves. You can't expect a community to go through this kind of trauma and damage and not have time to heal. Even a professional athlete doesn't get thrown in for 30 carries after coming off of a major surgery. You limit their carries. You see how they do. You are flexible. The community has a way to move forward, to reopen, but it has to be done, as the council member said, with the community at the ground level, not at 30,000 feet, not in places with different time zones. It has to be done here. The wisdom of the community needs to be embraced by those who have the power to effectuate the things that we've been talking about over and over again for weeks. This is not a new message, is it not? This is not a new message. For weeks and weeks we've been saying, we need to address, we have no schools, we have no daycare, we have no grocery stores just opening up. The hierarchy of needs has been turned on its head. And we as a government and the community owe it to this very small group of people to give them the immediate need they have and to reassert the hierarchy of needs so that that is addressed first and foremost before any floodgates are open. And so that is my humble message. And to all of you out there who've given your aloha, your time and your money, I and my community are so grateful. But we need your voices now more than ever. We need to keep being able to know that our cries for this kind of pleas will be answered and acknowledged. If we can get these things addressed, which you've heard about, mortgages, rents, business assistance, immediate, not 9 months from now when everybody's gone, but now. How can we as a state look ourselves in the mirror and say, we can't take care of 7,000 people? What does that say for the rest of us? That's the question, the moral question we all face today. We as a state should have the resources and the political will to give immediate need, and then we can use the federal support for the big heavy lifting that will come along the way. But right now, this is a plea for these actions which you've known about. I thank you for being here. I thank the members of the community for being here. I thank our Lahaina families who have flown here with nary a dime in their pocket to be here. So I don't let them speak. They're the voices in need. The victims should be always front and center, not politicians, not pundits, the victims. That is front and center. And I'm just going to leave you with this all. I'm sorry. Imua Lahaina. Long live the people of Maui.
Mahalo, Senator McKelvey. In these unprecedented times, we are reminded of the strength and the unity inherent within our West Maui community. Lahaina is a working class community. Each individual, regardless of their job title or professional background, contributes to a unique thread to the fabric that is our beloved home. Be it the hospitality worker, the construction worker, the educator, or any other role that bolsters our community, it is a collective endeavor. However, as we stand here today, our community faces challenges that demand more than just words. It requires compassionate action. The recent events have cast a shadow on Maui, leaving many of our families grappling with grief, untended personal matters, and a looming financial uncertainty. Returning to work under the weight of these burdens is not a genuine choice, it is a dire necessity. These aren't mere statistics. These are our neighbors, our friends, our families. They need support in tangible forms, financial aid, emotional rest, and protection from overwhelming debt. It is for this reason that we appeal to you, Governor Green. The legislature has designated $200 million in discretionary funds. We urge its allocation towards direct unemployment benefits for our workers and vital grants for our small businesses the backbone of our local economy. Furthermore, we call on you, Governor Green, and our federal representatives to advocate for an expansion of federal aid beyond the scope of FEMA block grants and TANF. We've seen a nationwide pause for the benefits of 300 million Americans during the COVID crisis. It is our belief and plea that the people of Maui deserve a similar safety net in these trying times. But amidst this call for aid, there's an even more potent call, a call for understanding. Thus, we extend a heartfelt invitation to you, Governor Green, and to you, Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke, to immerse yourselves in our community's voice. Join us Friday, October 6th at Hanako'o Beach Park at 4 p.m. We will be there. Will you? Hear firsthand the chorus of voices that resonate with pain, resilience, and hope. We cannot and will not let any force divide our community between hospitality and non-hospitality workers. We are a singular, unified entity, reliant on mutual security and well-being. Every member deserves a voice in determining our path forward. To lightly put it, this is a working class issue. While some might have the privileges to take their time in recovery, many among us are caught in a heart-wrenching predicament, balancing personal healing with urgency to provide for their families. Such decisions are a weight too heavy for any individual to bear alone. Together, as one community, we can and we will rise to these challenges, fortified and unified. Mahalo. Now, we have created this petition to postpone the opening of West Maui on upcoming October 8th date. And we'll be presenting it to the governor's office. Thousands of signatures of people who agree that the opening is coming way too soon. So I'd like to welcome all of our West Maui residents who have come here today to go unified to his office to present this petition. And everyone else here who came to support, we need your support from down here. Mahalo nui. Are there any questions?
Questions? Do you have anybody who works in the industry here who would like to speak as a person who works in the industry and really is not ready to go back?
Myself? Yeah. I am employed at Merriman's Kapalua, and we all, obviously our business benefits from the presence of tourists and having more of our visitors coming through. And for myself personally, I'm not ready to go back. I don't want the conversation to always be, oh, did you lose your home? How are you displaced in this wildfire? And that's for myself. Now imagine somebody else who doesn't have the mental stability, given they might be in even more trying times, and somebody consistently reminding you of the disaster that you just went through and reminding you of that trauma, that could be detrimental to them. And this is where we come with that plea that so many of us are not ready. Everything in Lahaina right now is very disorganized on every level. So adding this tourist visitors coming to Lahaina is adding insult to injury. I'm a bartender there. My name is Paele, P-A-E-L-E, last name Kiakona, K-I-A-K-O-N-A.
Cousin, thank you for Americans. You guys have given us food every day at the Kanahana boat ramp. You guys know about Americans and we're supporting. There's a tagline
question. I have a lot to say, but I want to offer some other Lahaina residents an opportunity to come and speak. So, anybody? Zane?
Kalamai, what was the question, Shelby? Well, I think in many ways we've seen our economy with all its eggs in one basket. And after COVID, a lot of us were left helpless, yet with more support than we're experiencing now, with much more loss. And so through that time, we saw people leave home through the hard times. Now we're experiencing far greater loss on so many different levels. Physical, spiritual, family members, friends, classmates, lost. Many not even able to get closure for that loss, which is a whole nother thing that is something to consider. And with these times, we see not only friends being displaced one week after another from one place to the next, but every day, parents, families are faced with hard choices. Hard choices to leave or to stay, to uproot and go somewhere else where they could provide for their families more. And for those fortunate, like all my ohana behind me, fortunate enough to take the time to follow their heart and be a voice of our people, not everybody has that fortunate opportunity right now. And I think we all are here speaking on behalf of our family, our friends, our community who has lost so much more. We don't want to see people leaving Lahaina. Lahaina is a special place. I think everyone from Hawaii and who's experienced Maui knows that Lahaina is a Wahipana, a very special place. Although it's the people that's special. It's our ohana, it's the people in our community that make this place so magic. And how can we, as mentioned in these topics, be expected to be hospitable to an industry that we've seen fail us time and time again? We have ancient wisdom instilled in our culture, in our community, in our home, in songs and chant. This isn't surprise for us in Lahaina. How many fires have we experienced in the last decade? We know the kaula winds flatten everything in its path from the chants and songs that we've heard in school, that we've heard from our kupuna and elders. We would like for all powers that be to not only acknowledge what we've learned and overcome from this experience, but to also take for account our ancient wisdom and how it could be implemented to our current technology and knowledge that we have today. We gotta keep Lahaina Lahaina, and that means keeping our people in Lahaina. And the problem that we all see, if this date follows through with the plans for the powers that be, including Governor Josh Green for October 8th, it only proves to us that they are not willing to take initiative to make a change, to make something better, to create something with better emergency preparedness, better disaster relief initiatives and preparedness. Because the sooner they go and bring things back to how it was, the more we know they don't want to make a change. And we are humbly asking for your guys' understanding, everyone's understanding, for transparency. Because our government voice is not our community voice. And we have not seen those powers that be come and talk to those who have lost so much. They haven't come and looked us in the eye. They go on the screen and say what they think's needed to say to cover their okole, and excuse my language. But I would like to see our home for my 4-month-old be a place that I could take pride knowing that we did all we can. And I know the people standing behind me have sacrificed their jobs, have sacrificed time away from their family have sacrificed the security for how they can provide for this right here, for this battle. And I think for me, myself, I come from a very fortunate background. My parents gave me the education, the support I needed. My community, many standing behind me, passed the torch to me, and there's nothing more than I know that is important than to be here, standing with Lahaina. And I know we can all push forward together and invite everyone to do the same. And so let's keep Hawaiians in Hawaii, let's keep Lahaina Lahaina, and we got to make the importance known of the pushback of that date and how the implications of that can take effect. With every action, there's a reaction. And we need to be accountable for the actions and the repercussions made, not just for those behind me, but for my 4-month-old, for our children, because the long-term sustainability of what has provided for us has failed us the last few years, and it will continue to fail us if we don't reinvent it. Mahalo to you guys for your patience and for calling me to humbly share our experience. Mahalo kako.
I think we're gonna transition now and take this as a segue into presenting our petition to the governor's office so we can continue to push forward. Mahalo.